In today's video, we'll teach you how to create a responsive registration form using HTML and CSS. We created this tutorial in response to a subscriber's request. If you would like us to create something for you, please subscribe and drop your suggestions in the comments below. My goal with this channel is to post videos on different topics every week. This will help you to become a full stack developer. It's important to keep watching the step-by-step tutorial until the end. Here on the screen, we can able to see the responsive registration form which contains multiple user inputs like text, email, password, number and date which have basic validation. If you want to expand your knowledge about validation, I have added two more videos on our channel. User form validation and animated login form validation. Check them out after watching this video to gain a better understanding. Once user click create account, we can get the form validation pop-up says please fill out this field. This should be mandatory to fill this form. So if we try to enter a user value on the input, we'll get the border color on each input fields. This will indicate the user which field we are in. Once user entered valid data, it will set the same color on the inputs. For example, user entered invalid email address. Here we can't able to see the border color to the particular input. If user entered valid email address followed along the pattern, it will set again the border color to the inputs. And this should be indicate this field should be valid. Here I can able to enter the password and I can able to set the age. So if I enter the age as 100, here we can't able to set this because this field is invalid. We have set this min and max values to the age with the restriction. So based on this we can able to set the age. So I will reset and I will change to 30 here. Now we can able to see the border color here. And then again I will set the mobile number here and I will set the gender. For the date of birth we have disabled for the future dates because we can't able to set the date of birth as future dates. So we have disabled and we can able to set only the previous date. And I will enter the test address here in the address field, and then once we click create account it will submit and we can able to see the form reset here. As I mentioned, the registration form is responsive and allows us to switch between different resolution to see the alignment of columns fields on the screen. Once we are in the mobile device, once we click this create account, the focus should be displayed on the particular mandatory field. If I type test, if I click create account again, it will focus on the next input here. Before beginning this video, I would like to introduce myself as Sharat Chandar K. Most of you are watching my videos without subscribing. So please subscribe to our channel and like this video to encourage me. Let's build our own. Here on my desktop, I have already created a project folder name called responsive registration form. Let me open this into a Visual Studio Code. So for that, I will drag this directory into a Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code will load all the files inside it. Inside the directory, I have already created a index.html and style.css. In the index.html, I have already added a HTML boilerplate along with the title called responsive registration form by Sharat Chandar K. And then here I have linked the style.css style sheet into the header element to get the styles as an external file. And then in the style.css, I have added a import URL of the font family Poppins, and then along with this, I have added a asterisk. This means wildcard. This will reset the value to all the elements. I have reset the margin and padding to 0, and I have set the font family Poppins along with this box sizing should be border box. And then in the index.html inside the body element we are going to create the responsive registration form with the div. For that we have a embed abbreviation to create a div with class. The class value of container. I will type dot and container. If I hit enter, it will create a div element with the class attribute with the value of container. Inside that we are going to add the header tag with the help of h2 says registration, and below this we are going to add the form. Inside that we are going to add one more div with class value of row, and then inside that again one more div with the class value of column, and short form we have called col, and inside that we are going to add the label value of first name. Along with this, we are going to add the input field. For that, we are going to add the input field with the embed abbreviation of input, and then we can say the type of text and then we can say the class called form input. If I hit enter, it will create a input with the type of text with the name of null. Right now this is not required, so I will remove this with the class value of form input and will set the placeholder to enter first name. Now let us see our HTML file in action. So for that we have a go live extension here. Once we click this, it will automatically load our files into a default browser. Here we have added a registration and then the first name with input box. And then now we'll add other input fields with the same column here. I have copy and paste here, and I will change the first name to last name, and then here the placeholder to first name to last name. If I save, we can able to see the changes instantly into the default browser. That is how the live server will work. And then I will add one more column with username, and I will change the placeholder to username. If I save, again we can able to see this, and again I will add one more column with email, and here we need to change the type to email to, and then placeholder to enter email address. Again I will copy the one more column here, and I will change the label value to password, and then type to password. In the placeholder we can change enter password. If I save, now we can able to see the email as well as the password too, and I will copy and paste the same value, and I will change the label to confirm password, and then again type to password, placeholder change enter confirm password. If I save, now we can able to see the changes here, and then here I will paste the column again. I will change the label to age. Instead of type, I will set these things to number, and then I will change the placeholder to enter age. I will add one more column says label of mobile number. We can set this input type to number and placeholder to enter mobile number. And then below this, I will paste the column again. I will set the label to gender. Instead of input, we can add the select box here. Select box is a group of value user can select. So I can add the select with the class of same form input. If I save, we can able to see the select box here. Inside that, we need to add the options. So I will add the first option as empty, and then second option should male, and then third option should female, and then fourth option should be prefer not to say. If I save, now we can able to see the values here. We can able to select the values from the group of options. And then next to this, I will paste the column again. I will set date of birth, and then I will change the type to date. If I save, now we can able to see the date window here. So we can switch and we can add the date of birth based on our date. And then outside this row, I'm going to add the button value of create account with the help of class form button. If I save, we can able to see the button too. Now we need to style this. So for that, I will jump to the style.css. I have already linked the style.css in the header element. So in the style.css, I will add the styles to the body element. With the help of body selector, I need to set this registration form into the center of the screen with the help of display flags, and then I will set align item to center, and then justify content center, and then height should be 100 VH, and then we'll set the background to light blue color. If I save, now we can able to see the registration form into the center of the screen. Then now we need to style this container. So with the help of container, previously we have added the styles to the element of body with the selector of element name. Now we need to add the styles to the class with the help of dot with container. I will set the background to white. I will add the padding inner space should be 25 px, margin outer space should be 25 px. I will set the width of 100 percentage, and then I will set max width to 800 px. Will add the border radius to 5 px. If I save, now we can able to see the registration form with the container style. And then here next to this, I will add the box shadow to it. With the help of box shadow, 0 and then 5px. 5px with RGB color. I will set red to 0, green to 0, blue to 0 and alpha should be 0.15. If I save, now we can able to see the box shadow to this container, and then I will add the styles to the header here with the help of dot class container, and again we can add the subclass to h2. So the h2 is present inside the container, so we can able to add the container and then h2. I will set the text align to center and then margin bottom to 15px. If I save, now we can able to see the registration into the center of the container. We can add like this or we can directly use the h2, because in our form we have only one h2 element here, and then now we need to add the styles to the form row here with the help of class value row, because we need to set this element into the container to each side. With the help of row, I will set display to flux again, align items center, justify content space between, and then we'll set the flux wrap to wrap. If I save, now we can able to see the elements into the two sides. If I reduce the size, it will be flags automatically based on the width into the container. For now, if I remove the space, we can able to see some of the fields on the left hand side, some of the fields in the right hand side. So we need to set this uniform into the two different columns. So again with the help of column, because we have set this column to all the fields as a parent element. So I will set the column class. Again with display flag, I will set the flux direction. As I said, we are going to set as a column, and we'll add the width with the calculation of 100 percentage divided by 2. If I save, now we can able to see the width. It was calculated for the entire container and it was divided by 2, and it will set into the center of the container. If I reduce, it will be 2 all the times. Previously it was collapsed and it was sent to the below to this each inputs. Now it will be set to columns all the time. So and then here I will set the minus 15px to add some space to this. If I save, I have set the 15px to add the space between the values, and then I will go here. Next thing, I need to add the styles to the label with the element select or label name. I will set the font weight to 500, and then I will add the margin bottom of each label to 5px. If I save, now we can able to see the space between to the label and the input. And now we'll add the styles to the form input. So we have added the class to all the inputs along with the input as well as the select box too. So we can able to add the values to input or select. We can do like this, or we have added a class value with the value of form input. I will set the height of 45px and then width of 100 percentage. If I save, now we can able to see this. We can able to add the styles like this, or we can directly set the input and select. If I save, both should be applicable. And then I will remove the outline to none. I will set the font size to 16px. I will add the border radius to 5px, and then padding left 15px. I will add the border 1px solid with light gray color, and then border bottom width to 3px, and then we'll add the transition all 0.3 second. Yes, and then we'll add the outer spacing of margin bottom 10px. If I save, now we can able to see the input style as well as the select box styles too. Whenever we are in the input box focus, we need to add the border color, right? So with the help of form input, we'll set the focus border color with again light blue color. If I save, if I go here, now we can able to see the border color to the each inputs. Now we are going to add the styles to the create button too. So for that, we have added a class value of form button with the selector of dot with form button. I will set the height to 100 percentage and then width to 100 percentage. If I save, we can able to see the button style here, and then again I will set the border radius to 5 px, margin top to 10 px, padding inner spacing should be 10 px again, and then I will reset the border with the help of border none. I will set the color to white. I will set the font size 15 px, and then font weight 500, and then I will set the letter spacing 1 px. Will set the cursor to pointer, and then we'll add the background again with light blue color. If I save, now we can able to see the styles to the create button. Once we over this, we need to change the color here, right? So again, with the help of form button, I will add the over effect to this, and I will set the background color with the help of RGB, red to 2, green to 0, and blue to 36. And then I will set the background with the property of linear gradient to 90 degree. I will set again RGBA color with 30, 144, 255 with 1 of 0 percentage, and then second color with RGBA color 0, 212 and 255 and 1 again with the value of 100 percentage. Now if I save, if I over, now we can able to see the linear gradient color to the button here. And then once we click this, we need to add the transform with the help of active with form button. Active will set the transform translate to 0 em and 0.2 em. If I save, if I go here, if I click, now we can able to see the transform to the button, and we need to add the text here. Once we add the text, see, now we can't able to see the border color here, right? So again, here in the focus, I will add one more class property with the form input with valid. If I save, now we can able to see the border color to all the inputs. Because this is empty, we can able to see the border color here, right? So we will fix this in the index.html. In the index.html form, we need to add one more property called required. If I save, now we can't able to see the border color here. If I click create account, we will get the pop-up too. Once we enter the value here, it will automatically set the border color here. We need to add this required to all the input fields. I will copy and paste the required to all the input fields inside the form. I will paste these values to select option 2, and here I will add these things to bit of birth. If I save, now we can't able to see the border color to all the inputs. Once we have entered the values and it's valid, then only the color should be set below to the input box. Once we click create account, now we'll get the pop-up validation alert to the next input with the border effect. If I type again, it will set the border color to this particular input. If I navigate to the any of the inputs, we can able to see the border color. If I enter the test of username test user, I will hit create account. Now we'll get the validation pop-up to the email. Because this is the email input field, we need to add the pattern of the email, and then here I will enter the age to some big numbers. This is crazy, right? There is no one can live to this large number of age. We need to restrict the age with the help of min and max value. This is another attribute of input, same as required. So I will add the min of 1 and then max to 99. If I save, now if I type something bigger value, it will not set the border color here. If I add some values in between this, I will add 88. Now we can able to see this is valid, and we can able to see the border color here. And then one more thing, I will go to the date of birth. See, now the future date says enabled here. I can able to go and select the date of birth of the March 27. This is not valid date, right? Because this should be future date. So we need to fix this with the another attribute of on focus. We'll add the this dot max equal to new date dot to ISO string dot split. With the help of t, we need to get the first value. If I save, if I go to the date of birth, it should disable for the future dates. What is this new date dot to string? I will go to the console. I will add the new date dot to ISO string. See, now we can able to get the values of current date and time here. So I have splitted this value with the help of, I will add the new date again dot to ISO string and I will split this value with the help of t, right? So in between this value we have the option of t, and then I will get the first value here. Now here we can able to get the only date. This is a max. This is another attribute to set the input field restricted by the particular date whatever we are adding. So for example, I will add the max. I will copy this date. If I paste it here, if I remove this, again I will go to the browser. If I click here, see, this should be disabled to the max values. This should be dynamic, right? Because if I open this registration form on today, this should be applicable. If I open this registration form next week or next couple of weeks, again this date should be the same of January 27. This should be not the case, right? So only I have added a dynamic values with the help of on focus. I will get the particular current date with the help of date object. I will set the values to the date. This should get whenever we are logged or whenever we open this registration form based on the current date into the computer's date. If I hit create, now we'll get the values, and then if I reduce this, still we can't able to see the fields properly, right? So with the help of media query we can fix this. Again I will jump to the style.css. I will add the media query with the help of max width of 770 px, and I will set the column value again with display flags, and then again the flux direction to column. I will set the width again with the attribute of calci. I will set this 100% again divided by 2 minus 15 px. If I save, there is nothing changes, right? So along with this we need to add the another media query to the mobile. So I will add one more media query with the max width 550 px. I will set the call value of display flags, and I will set the flux direction to column again, and I will set the width value to 100% directly. If I save, now we can able to see the direction here. So here we can't able to see the registration on the top, right, because of the width. So I will remove this column here, and I will add the styles to the body, and then I will set the height of 100%. If I save, now we can able to see the registration form full width here. I can able to drag this. If it is a tablet view, we can able to see the column for each side. If it is a mobile device, we can able to see the column in a single column. If I click create here, we have get this. Please fill out this field. I will add the test value, the first name as test, again the username as test user, email as test at mail.com. If I remove this test, if I click create account, we need to include the pattern of email address test at mail.com. If I click, I will enter the password. Again, I will enter the confirm password, and I will enter the age. I will enter the mobile number. I will select the gender too, and I will select the DOB2. If I click create, it will be submit and it should be reset automatically. Finally, we have completed this response to registration form using HTML and CSS. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Please like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel Sarat Chandar K to watch more like this one. If you are interested in JavaScript projects, I have created and added a playlist link in the description. Please do check it out. Now I want to hear from you. If you have any questions or what JavaScript topics do you want us to cover in future videos, drop your suggestions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep coding and keep learning. See you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye for now. Have a nice day.